Okay, here we are back with section 4 of unit 3. Today's lecture is going to deal with the struggle against apartheid in South Africa and Nelson Mandela. So let's begin here by looking on the map. Obviously, we want to see where South Africa is located. And we're going to see the British first colonized South Africa in the early 1800s as part of their trade routes to get over to India. So what will happen is that a sizable community will grow down there in South Africa because of the trading. South Africa will become an independent country in 1934. And then we're going to see this policy of apartheid being adopted in 1948 by the Nationalist Political Party. So we'll get more than that, of course. So first of all, what is apartheid? For the simple translation is apartness. So when you think of apartheid, obviously you see a part in there. So it was a really complex system of institutionalized segregation and discrimination that existed in South Africa from 1948 when it became law into the early 1990s when it crumbled down. And it is very simply sanctioned racial segregation, political and economic discrimination against the non-whites. And in South Africa, you had some Indians, and but the majority were going to be Black Africans in South Africa. So the key thing. Let me go back here because I did want to bring one thing up. The big part I skipped over there is the economic aspect of it. So after World War II, there was a fear by the white South African people that these independence movements going around the world would economically hurt their status in South Africa. So besides the racial aspect of apartheid, the big aspect of it was going to be to keep the Africans economically segregated and not let them share in any of the economic wealth that was in South Africa. So opposing the white nationalist party will be the ANC, or the African National Congress, as it's called. They're obviously the big focus of them is going to be to fight against apartheid in South Africa. Now, the ANC is located in other parts of Africa, and if you notice their symbol, their flag, and this spear, that we're going to see that this Nelson Mandela, who will become the first leader of South Africa after the apartheid falls, he was often referred to as the tip of the spear, like leading the charge. So apartheid laws, and we're going to be doing a little activity in class to delve deeper into this, but there's a Population Registration Act, and this actually focused on your racial characteristics. Amenities Act, the Separate Amenities Act, focused on the public services like a hospital, where you lived, and even in cars. And then the Mixed Marriages Act, apartheid law, was obviously very simple, that you could not officially marry between different races. But one of the big laws, apartheid laws, and the first one of criticism, were called the pass laws. And as you can see in red there, it's an internal passport system designed to segregate the population. And so say you lived in one region of South Africa, you were not allowed to pass to another part of it without proper identification. And this was done to the urbanization. Many people were moving into the larger cities, so this actually forced many Black Africans to move out of the cities and maybe even allocate migrant labor so there wouldn't be a lot of workers in one area. And the pass law, again, was one of the dominant features until it ended in 1986. Well, one of the horrific incidents was the Sharpeville massacre, an incident that happened in Sharpeville, South Africa, where there was a protest against the pass laws and peaceful protest, outside of a train station, and the police showed up and fired into the crowd, wounding 250 and killing almost 70 protesters. Obviously, horrific pictures there at the bottom of the bodies laying there. This, by the way, this instance will lead Nelson Mandela to begin to be a little more militant himself, and realizing that maybe that's the only way apartheid can be changed is with violence. And again, here's that picture blown up. Sharpeville massacre. So here we have Nelson Mandela. Again, great quote. We'll talk about that in class. But he was the anti-apartheid revolutionary who later will be the president of South Africa, the first black head of state and the first elected representative in democracy. He will be sent to jail for over 20 years for his actions, which were deemed revolutionary in South Africa. And, again, even when he's in jail, he only gets to visit his family once every 6 months. It kind of became a cry to get him free out of prison, which we'll see in a little bit. So the big thing that we're going to focus on in the end of apartheid was international pressure. And as word got out and pictures got out of this treatment, of the Black Africans in South Africa, what will happen is the United States, Britain, and many in Europe will basically clamp down economically on South Africa. No more arms sales into South Africa by any European, U.S. or British companies. Foreign investment in South Africa. And again, I'll just give you a prime example of maybe like hotel chains that would set up in South Africa because of the warm climate. They began just not investing their money in South Africa, which would start hurting the country of South Africa economically. Other things also in international pressure was sporting organizations such as the World Cup, FIFA, and the Olympics. They began excluding South African teams from international competition. So, something just as big as important as the World Cup, South Africa would no longer be able to have a team. And the same with the Olympics, no Olympic delegation from South Africa because of their treatment of the Black Africans under apartheid. So another main person in the fight was Bishop Desmond Tutu, an Anglican cleric who received the Peace Prize in 1984 for his role in opposition. And it's important to focus on religious leaders standing up to this, because in many cases they would not be put in jail, and that they would not be seen as radicals, as religious. And again, there's a comparison here with Dr. Martin Luther King in the United States being a religious leader also, and again around the same time as this. One of the key white figures from South Africa was going to be F.W. de Klerk. He was the president. He will release Mandela from jail, and then they will actually work together in writing a new constitution that will successfully end apartheid and allow for free elections. Like we mentioned earlier, Mandela will be elected leader in 1994 because of the majority Black Afrikaners and outvoting the white. Okay, that will be it for section 4. We will be back with the last section, section 5, when we deal with